This is DD India and you're watching Express News, a program where we bring for you top 100 news of the day. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. On the occasion of National Startup Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the program marking a decade of the Startup India initiative in New Delhi on Friday. PM also interacted with members of India's vibrant startup ecosystem. In his address, PM Modi emphasized that India has now become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. He added that in 2025, India registered 44,000 new startups, marking the biggest jump in any single year since the launch of the Startup India initiative. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi visited an exhibition marking National Startup Day and 10 years of Startup India at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. At the event, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal highlighted that in the past 10 years, startups have grown from 400 to 200,000, with more than 2.1 million jobs being provided directly. Piyush Goyal also attended the result declaration ceremony of the National Startup Awards at Bharat Mandapam. The Union Minister was joined by several industry leaders and startup founders at the event. During the event, Minister Goyal answered various questions and highlighted the growing confidence among the youth of the country. Marking a decade of Startup India, the Prime Minister's office posted an article on X focused on India's focused on India's evolution into a global startup powerhouse as policy stability drives growth, according to industry leaders. The Prime Minister also shared an article highlighting the country's vibrant startup ecosystem that is helping creators grow in an inclusive setup and ponder immeasurable opportunities for a Viksit Bharat. During his opening address at the 18th India-Japan Strategic Dialogue on Friday, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar emphasized on how India prioritizes its friendship with Japan. He also added that over the last 2 decades, we've been successful in transforming the ties from economic to one that is broad, comprehensive and strategic. Earlier, the External Affairs Minister welcomed Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi. Both ministers discussed Indo-Pacific stability, AI and semiconductor cooperation, resilient supply chains and critical minerals, energy, health and maritime security. India's External Affairs Ministry held a presser on Friday. Spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal said that Dr. S. Jaishankar discussed defense cooperation with his Japanese counterpart, and both India and Japan expressed their commitment to further strengthening bilateral ties and enhancing cooperation in defense sector. Speaking on the protests in Iran, MEA spokesperson said that around 9,000 Indian nationals are in Iran, and India has issued an advisory recently, adding that India continues to watch the situation closely. The Speaker of the lower house of Lok Sabha of Indian Parliament, Om Birla, delivered brief remarks at the keynote session at the 28th Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of the Commonwealth countries on Friday. He emphasized the crucial responsibility of presiding officers to remain neutral, fair and impartial. Speaker Om Birla held multiple meetings with the Speaker of the House of Representatives of various countries. The leaders discussed various topics of mutual interest. On the sidelines of the conference, Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan held a meeting on Friday with Lord McFall of Ecclewith PC, Lord Speaker of the UK House of Lords in New Delhi. Both sides discussed enhancing cooperation through exchange programs, digital innovation and parliamentary functioning, and joint initiatives on global priorities. Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated the 3rd International Kite Festival in New Delhi today. Addressing the gathering, the minister said that the Kite Festival will connect people across the country and in the future it can become a national festival. On the occasion of Tiruvallur Day, Prime Minister Modi paid homage to the versatile sage Thiruvalluvar, whose timeless works and ideals continue to inspire innumerable people across generations. Minister of State for New and Renewable Energy Shripad Yesso Nayak attended a workshop on introduction and adoption of biomass for green steam and heat applications in MSMEs. He also released a report titled Decarbonizing MSMEs, Use of Biomass for Green Steam and Heat Application. The minister lauded India's renewable energy journey in the past decade and stressed that transitioning energy needs for the MSME sector are essential. On to business news. The Indian equity indices closed slightly higher on Friday. Nifty 50 was up by 29 points to close at 25,694. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange added 187 points to close at 83,570. At the Forex market, Indian rupee ended at 90 rupees 86 paise against the US dollar on Friday. Gold futures maturing on 5th February were priced at 143,000 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for 5th March maturity stood at 292,308 rupees per kilo on the MCX. On the global energy market, Brent crude was priced at $64.35 per barrel on Friday. Chip powerhouse NVIDIA unveiled Alpha Mayo, an AI platform for autonomous driving, which is set to be made available on electric Mercedes CLA models in the United States this year. The United States has signed a trade deal with Taiwan to cut tariffs on goods while boosting Taiwanese semiconductor and tech investments in America. The U.S. Army unveiled a prototype of next generation of armored war tanks at the Detroit Auto Show on Thursday. Social media companies have collectively deactivated nearly 5 million accounts belonging to Australian teenagers. The world-first ban on accounts held by under-16s will go live on December 10th. On to international news now. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday held phone calls with the leaders of Israel and Iran, offering mediation amid large-scale protests in Iran. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session in New York on Iran amid growing concern over reports that hundreds have been killed during nationwide protests. The UNSC urged everyone to walk on the path of diplomacy and reaffirmed its solidarity with the people of Iran and warned that all options are open to stop the slaughter for the US president. US envoy Mike Waltz renewed warnings to Tehran over its violent suppression of nationwide protests. Iranian envoy Ghulam Hussein Darzi warned that any aggression will be met with a decisive, proportionate, lawful response. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt on Thursday said that US President Trump is closely monitoring the situation on the ground in Iran. The United States has imposed new sanctions on Iranian security officials and financial networks, accusing them of orchestrating a violent crackdown on peaceful protests and laundering billions in oil revenues. A bipartisan delegation of US lawmakers will meet with the leaders of Denmark and Greenland on Friday to reassure them of congressional support despite President Trump's threats to seize the Arctic island. German Defense Ministry on Friday said that a Denmark-led reconnaissance mission in Greenland is set to determine whether Eurofighter jets can be deployed and whether maritime surveillance is possible with frigates. US President Trump on Thursday announced the formation of a Gaza Board of Peace, a key phase 2 element of a US-backed plan to end the conflict in West Asia. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres laid out his priorities and welcomed the developments in Gaza. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado presented her Nobel Prize medal to US President Donald Trump during a high-stakes meeting at the White House. US President heaped praise on Maria Corina Machado as he accepted the Nobel Peace Prize medal from Venezuelan opposition leader and described her gift as a wonderful gesture of mutual respect. Machado described the meeting as excellent and said that she offered it in recognition of his commitment to the freedom of the Venezuelan people. She also highlighted the need to build democratic, solid and stable institutions. After days of angry protests over a surge in immigration agents on the streets of Minneapolis, Donald Trump warned of invoking the Insurrection Act to deploy military forces in Minnesota. Confrontations between residents and federal officers have become increasingly tense after an immigration and customs enforcement agent fatally shot a US citizen 8 days ago in Minneapolis and shot a Venezuelan man. The protests have spread to other cities in the US. Former South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol was sentenced to 5 years in prison on Friday for charges including obstructing attempts to arrest him following his failed bid to impose martial law. In South Korea, fire tore through a densely packed hillside slum in Guryong village, burning homes on Friday. The blaze is now under control and fully extinguished, but only after 258 residents had to be evacuated. A railway power outage in Tokyo disrupted the commute for thousands on Friday after two main lines with some of the world's busiest stations halted after reports of a fire. Passengers were seen stranded between stations and walking along the tracks to evacuate. Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi met her Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni in Tokyo on Friday as the two countries mark 160 years of diplomatic ties. On the weather front, India Meteorological Department forecasts light to moderate rain and snow over Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Gilgit-Baltistan and Himachal Pradesh from January 16th to 21st. Isolated rain is likely in Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and West Uttar Pradesh for the next 3 days. IMD forecast a gradual rise in minimum temperatures across northwest, central and east India in the coming days. Most regions, including Gujarat, are set to see stable to slightly warmer nights, bringing relief from the chill. Dense fog, cold wave blanketed parts of Delhi. IMD forecasted that Delhi could witness slight relief from cold as minimum temperature rose to 4.3 degrees Celsius after 5 days. IMD forecast a rise in minimum temperatures across West Bengal, easing the cold wave next week. Kolkata and other districts are expected to see mild mornings with occasional shallow fog, bringing pleasant winter relief. Cold wave and very dense fog gripped Punjab, with Jalandhar and Bathinda experiencing poor visibility. Severe cold disrupted transport and daily life across the state. Weather conditions are set to shift in Himachal Pradesh with snowfall and rain forecast over the next few days as a fresh western disturbance is expected to affect the region. IMD predicts light to moderate snow in higher areas from January 16th to 21st. Cold wave conditions gripped several cities in Uttar Pradesh, intensifying winter chill. Prayagraj, Moradabad and Agra report harsh cold impacting daily life. At least 10 people are dead as torrential rains which caused severe flooding in northeast and South Africa. Kruger National Park remains closed amid rising waters and safety concerns. Rescuers dug homes out of deep snow in Russia's Kamchatka after a record snowstorm. 2 deaths were reported from roof avalanches and schools were closed while offices switched to remote working. An earthquake of magnitude 6 rattled the North Pacific Ocean on Friday. The earthquake occurred at a shallow depth of 10 kilometers, making it susceptible to aftershocks. Moscow's Muskaya snow dune rose to 5 meters after record snowfall, delighting locals and tourists alike. The snow pile, cleared from city streets, has become a popular winter landmark and photo spot. Morocco's Chouara tannery in Fez continues centuries-old leather-making traditions, supplying shops across the city and sustaining livelihoods. Rome enforces new 30-km/h speed limit at its historic centre, aiming to cut accidents and pollution. In Nigeria's Kano city, families keep alive a 200-year-old jaggery, a natural sweetener known locally as mazarkwaila, marking tradition contrasting with the nation's heavy sugar imports. Berlin Foundry has begun casting golden and silver Berlinale Bears, iconic film festival trophies weighing 2 kgs each, which take around 40 to 50 hours to produce. Britain's Prince William met farmers during a visit to a family farm in Herefordshire on Thursday, while Princess of Wales Kate hosted rugby champions in Windsor. Nepal's centuries-old bullfighting festival continues with fewer participants as bulls are becoming more expensive and rare even in villages. Hindu devotees across Sri Lanka gathered to celebrate Thai Pongal, the traditional harvest festival marking the dawn of the month of Thai. In Andhra Pradesh, Vishakhapatnam's glass skywalk perched 1,000 feet above sea level, drawing crowds with stunning Bay of Bengal views. The historic Assam's Rangpur Mela Winter Festival concluded with vibrant cultural performances by various ethnic communities. Urs, an annual Sufi festival, began in Agra, marking Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan's 371st death anniversary, opening Taj Mahal's basement to the visitors. In Balrampur, Chhattisgarh, the second day of the Tatapani Mahotsav featured a vibrant tribal fashion week. The event showcased the rich cultural heritage and traditional attire of the state's tribal communities. The annual Palamedu Jallikattu in Tamil Nadu's Madurai began on Friday. A traditional bull taming event drew large crowds. Tamil Nadu celebrated Mattu Pongal, marking the second day of the harvest festival. The festival honors cattle for their vital role in agriculture and daily life. Devotees throng Prayagraj's Triveni Sangam for the Magh Mela this year, taking holy dips in Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati confluence, seeking purification, blessings and celebrating the festival's deep cultural and spiritual significance. On to entertainment news now. The trailer of Border 2, starring Sunny Deol, Varun Dhawan, Diljit Dosanjh and Ahan Shetty, was unveiled, showcasing India's armed forces in action. The film is set to release on January 23rd. India marks the birth centenary of legendary composer O.P. Nair, known for blending Indian and Western rhythms. Actor Vijay Sethupathiy's new film is titled Slumdog 33 Temple Road. The multi-language action drama is set for release in Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Kannada and Malayalam. Oscar-winning composer Hans Zimmer will create the original score for Harry Potter TV series set to premiere in 2027. India's gross earning of James Cameron's Avatar Fire and Ash have crossed 222.9 crore rupees. The film continues to draw audiences across the country. The cast of Ryan Murphy's new series The Beauty attended its New York premiere. Stars posed on the red carpet as excitement built ahead of the show's release. Singer-songwriter Harry Styles announced his fourth album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. It is set to release on March 6th. K-pop singer and Korean band Blackpink's Jennie celebrated her 30th birthday on January 16th, marking a decade-long rise in K-pop stardom. Korean band BTS announced their fifth full-length album, Arirang, set for release on March 20th. The album celebrates Korean culture. American actor Robert Downey Jr. praised Timothée Chalamet's generation-defining performance in Marty Supreme at a special event. In sports news now, India crushed the USA by 6 wickets in their Under-19 World Cup opener. Henil Patel starred with a fiery 5-wicket haul, bowling USA out for 107. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami virtually opened the National Paralympic Powerlifting Championship. He assured full support for Divyang sportspersons in their inspiring journeys. Aryan Vashni became India's 92nd chess grandmaster after winning the Andranik Margayan Memorial in Armenia. He secured his final norm with a draw. Mitchell Starc returned to the Big Bash League after 11 years. Fresh from Ashes heroics, Starc showed glimpses of his match-winning class, dismissing Matthew Jikes. India and New Zealand have reached Indore for the third ODI on January 18th. A series decider at Holkar Stadium with the contest tied at 1-1 in Rajkot. Fans await a thrilling finale. In a historic first, Britain will host the Grand Depart for the 2027 edition of Tour de France. This will be the first time that both men's and women's tours will start in the same nation outside of France. Goals from Ferran Torres and Lamine Yamal have given Barcelona a hard-fought 2-0 victory over Racing Santander in the Copa del Rey on Thursday, sending it into the quarterfinals. AC Milan came from behind to secure a 3-1 victory over Como, with Adrien Rabiot scoring twice to keep the visitors in the Serie A title race. They now stand second in the table with 43 points. India's midfielder Manisha Kalyan has joined Peru's Alianza Lima Femenino, making a third overseas stint after Apollon Ladies and PAOK, furthering her trailblazing career. Harleen Deol's unbeaten 64 powered UP Warriors to their first WPL 2026 win, chasing down Mumbai Indians 161 with 11 balls left. A 73-run stand with the Litchfield sealed a 7-wicket victory. Royal Challengers Bengaluru will look to extend their perfect start to the Women's Premier League when they take on Gujarat Giants in Navi Mumbai today. The Australian Open 2026 draw took place in Melbourne on Thursday, setting up marquee clashes. Defending champion Yannick Sinner faces Hugo Gaston. Carlos Alcaraz targets his maiden Australian Open crown to complete a career Grand Slam. The Spaniard begins against Adam Walton, aiming to surpass Nadal as the youngest to win all 4 majors. In the women's draw, defending champion Madison Keys opens against Oleksandra Oleynikova, while top seed Arna Sabalenka faces French wildcard Tiansua Rakotomga. And Roger Federer returned to Rod Laver Arena after 6 years practicing with Casper Ruud ahead of the Australian Open. The 44-year-old last competed in Melbourne in 2020. So that's it in this edition of Express News. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.